Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Ultimatum. This is episode 6, season 3. And if I look a little tired, it's because it's the day after that 10-hour stream I did. And yes, it was worth it, but oh my gosh. So this is the first thing I'm doing today. Let's go ahead and get through as many episodes today as we can. So you might see me in the same clothes. I just want to go ahead and finish Ultimatum so we can get on to the next series I want to watch with you, which I think will be very exciting. With that said, let's see what happens this episode.
Hi.
What up?
Ooh, okay. Being kind of cold. Everyone else felt much more comfortable than this, but let's see if it's just edited. Nope. Okay. No, say it. Okay. I read it correctly.
Are you okay?
Scotty's so passive aggressive.
Clearly you're not, so let me know if you want to talk. What's wrong? Do you need space right now?
Ugh, he looks so angry, dude. I do not appreciate this facial expression.
I have a question.
Yes.
I want to know if I've ever said anything negative or talked about JR to you. This is a yes or no question. This is not an elaborate on my perspective question or find the gray area question. Have I or have I not?
Directly? No. What happened and why are you bringing this energy right now?
Yeah, exactly. Like, explain yourself. But also, I don't like the idea of like yes or no questions. It's like, well, yes, but also no, but also maybe. So I'm curious what he said to her that made her hesitate.
JR went off.
About what?
He said that I was talking about him and like he was saying something like maybe you're trying to cast doubt in Zaina's head. And I'm just like, bro, I don't know who you are. Like I would never say that you're trying to get a hall pass or you're here for the wrong reasons. Like I was just like, bro, who the fuck do you think I am? Like that is not acceptable at all, period. He refused to say where he got that information from.
So you automatically think it's me?
I never said that.
The energy you're giving me is if like...
I'm not giving you any energy.
Yes.
Oh, he's giving strong energy, girl.
I'm frustrated that somebody would misunderstand my character like that. I don't give a about how many weights you lift, how big you are, how much you eat per day. I don't play that shit.
It feels like he actually does suffer from a desire to be seen as a man, and RJ is like a threat because RJ's so typical masculine. He pulls it off well. He's very well dressed. He's very handsome. RJ is the package of like masculinity. Actually, I think RJ suffers from less toxic masculinity based off the editing than technically Scotty does. But Scotty probably suffers from toxic masculinity more because he doesn't fit that stereotype in an ironic sense. Though men who are typically masculine can also fall into the trap of toxic masculinity. Obviously, it's something they have to deconstruct. RJ technically is exhibiting technically better behavior than Scotty, which is not surprising. Scotty just fits so perfectly into that stereotype of a man who's just too soft and refuses to accept the fact that that's his category.
Intimidated?
Hell no. You think I'm intimidated by
No,
JR?
I'm just like, it's a lot.
What relevance does that have to the conversation?
It's a lot of energy right now that you are taking out on me. So just separate that. I need you to take a moment. I need you to take some deep breaths.
I'm not taking it out on you.
I feel like he's taking it out on me. I just woke up. That's a lie. I've been up for a few hours. Had a great tofu fried onion dish this morning, delicious with some salad, so good. But I literally, look at me, I'm so like, I still have like sleepy voice on because I haven't talked this morning. I've had my cup of coffee and this energy is like so intense for me right now. Calm down, Scotty.
Nothing to you, nothing is concrete about how he got information.
Why are you raising your voice?
Because you just went off. Like, check yourself.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay. He said that's fair. I can do that.
An adult conversation, we can talk about what happened.
You're telling me you haven't talked to JR at all?
Honestly, like JR and I have really detached ourselves.
Okay.
If you're like assuming that it's me,
I didn't.
it is not. But your questions are leading to an assumption.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
Just because I ask you a question doesn't mean I've
What was
already...
the point of that question then?
Exactly.
I was asking you.
For what purpose?
Clarification. That's what you do,
Okay.
right?
No, the way you do, if you don't think it's her, is you say, okay, who in the group do you think it is? Because obviously I know it's not you. Or he could say, hey, I'm pretty sure it's not you, but I just need some validation and reassurance. Like, are you talking to JR? The idea is that Scotty isn't actually establishing a trust with Zaina in this questioning. The way he's like fiercely looking at her, the way he's communicating, he's signaling a distrust of Zaina, not a distrust of somebody else.
I have not seen this side of you. What y'all had, you brought it here. Sometimes in life, that's gonna happen where you get into altercations with people or arguments with people. You need to make sure you don't bring it home to your marriage.
Exactly.
Just know and pay attention to how your energy can affect other people. Take a second and like take accountability for that energy that you brought.
Okay, well, I'm sorry if you feel like my energy was super off. And
Oh, girl.
That was a lot. So I'm glad we were able to like de-escalate.
Thanks to
you accept my
her.
apology.
It wasn't an apology. That was not an apology. Do not accept it, Zaina. I know she's going to accept it. It says yes on the screen. That is not an apology.
Yes.
Are you sure?
I might need a shot because like that was too much.
Like all of my greatest fears are being realized.
In what way? Like what has?
I mean, JR is like all about Sandy. He's like, I don't know, I just see her like glowing and I feel like, I don't know if I'm gonna be here at the end single or get married or leave with Sandy. GFY, bro.
I'm sorry, GFY? Go F yourself. He's such a child, bro.
The takeaway is that she felt really neglected in her needs. You haven't been there for her. She's getting certain conversations and experiences with JR, and she wants you to show up emotionally stable in a way.
Yeah. If you were to ask my ex before Sandy, it was a similar experience. When I got comfortable, I stopped being as emotionally in check. And then
When I got comfortable, I stopped being as emotionally in check. When I got comfortable, he's the guy who shows up great on the first date and what's this word? He becomes less than as the relationship continues. Wow. So he's got a pattern and then he has the audacity to give her an ultimatum. Wow. So he put an ultimatum on Sandy, made her out to be this like party girl, this like not ready for commitment girl, but she's not ready to commit to Nick because Nick's not ready to commit to her. He said, once I realized that there was a potential loss, I freaked out. He's one of those guys. He's one of those guys who doesn't make an effort for the relationship, but when he's about to lose it, all of a sudden he becomes like, not even a good boyfriend. He becomes the emotionally attached loser who's like, please, please, please be with me. I'm so sorry. Please, I'll never do it again. Loser, dude, a loser.
realized that there was a potential loss, I freaked out. I'm hopeful that she can put her anger and frustration aside and just like show up the way that she seems to be showing up for others.
Sir, you all warned me this season, the men in this season, bro. See how he's raised? See? I don't show up. I'm the one who sabotages. If she can only put aside her anger and show up for me the way she shows up for others, that'd be great. Do you think maybe she's showing up for others because they're not doing her the way you did her? They're not doing her dirty, sir.
Because she just gets really mad at me.
Yeah. I wonder why her family doesn't like you. Her friends don't like you because you want her to show up for you the way you refuse to show up for yourself or the relationship or her. Ridiculous.
JR described her holding space because that hasn't happened with us.
There is no way Sandy has not shown up for Nick at some point in their relationship. I refuse to believe it just based off her friends and her family, i.e. witnesses to a 3-year dynamic.
I don't trust him.
That is a fair feeling for you to have.
The funny thing is like I've been freaking out because I've had all these thoughts of things happening and they're happening. They're into each other and they're definitely being physical. I mean, he's like falling for Sandy. Hardcore. It's written all over his face.
It's interesting how much he doesn't trust JR, but it's the idea that like they're definitely being physical. But like, what does that mean, right? Like, yeah, they're definitely probably being physical. I don't know to what extent though. I'm still kind of lost there.
I obviously talked to Zaina. I just reiterated, he loves you so much. It's all love. And I think obviously she appreciated hearing that.
Thank you.
And how was your night? Was everybody there?
Interesting. Okay, so she said it's all love. I told Zaina he appreciates it. Interesting. I wonder how that was communicated though, because it didn't sound reasonable the way she was saying to Zaina, like, I want JR to heal from this so he could show up for you. Or maybe it was a little bit of both. That's an interesting that they seem like on the same page in that regard. Okay.
I didn't know if Nick was gonna show up.
Nick came up, and the first thing he did was come over and apologize, which I appreciated.
What did he say?
He was like, sorry about everything that happened, that's been going on. Just wanted to come to you, man to man, apologize. I was like, you can sit down, we can talk. Very apologetic, like he had a change of heart or something. Oh, cool, this is a different you that I haven't seen the past few weeks. Like, I appreciate your apology, but like, what you did was not cool.
Okay, I like that so far they're both like being good about the way they're explaining the experiences, because one of the red flags is if somebody retells the story different.
Sandy's not telling you everything.
Oh.
She was also like reaching out to me, saying stuff like, you miss him.
I've missed him. Like there's for sure been moments where I've missed him and I've expressed that, and he's expressed that to me every day.
Yeah, because like they've been literally in a relationship for 3 years. That makes sense.
Now all of a sudden he's all like enlightened and chill. Let's see how he is in 2 days from now. I feel like my head is gonna explode. Like I really feel like I've been like pulled in so many different directions, and it's like with him, it's this one day, then it's this the next day, and then it's this and that, and I'm just like, I literally can't keep up.
Isn't their energy so different than Scotty and Zaina's? Like Scotty's so defensive. He's so passive aggressive. He's so like insecure. But look at how JR has one of the hardest situations as the man, just because there's another man who's actively like being emotional and targeted, who's coming to their place. So it's interesting to see Scotty be so defensive, so in his feelings, but to see JR just be like, but then maybe that's also one of the things that Zaina was missing in the relationship is like JR maybe doesn't emotionally show up, or maybe he's just being that typical toxic, or maybe not toxic masculinity, but kind of typical toxic masculinity where they sort of like put their feelings aside and they're playing a protector provider role and they want to, you know, so they deny themselves their own feelings in order to be the calm one in the room. I don't know. But it's nice to see. I think I'm going to read this optimistically, sort of a calm energy.
It's so frustrating to me.
I know.
Oh,
I'm like so mad. It's bullshit. Like he owns up to it for 1 second and then the next day continues to do it. Like I can't. Like
oh, girl. Oh, he's so annoying. Exactly. He'll like own up. He'll say the right things, but then he goes right back into it. I'm telling you, this is why her family doesn't like him.
it's not fair.
It's not.
It's not fair.
I've been like trying so hard to keep it together and I'm like,
Yeah.
I literally don't even want to move back in with him.
It's okay.
What to do?
Honestly, if I was Sandy, I would feel so frustrated and uncomfortable to have to be with Nick again. But also, like, this is someone she's known for 3 years, someone she's been intimate with for 3 years, somebody that she hasn't been truly sure about for 3 years, somebody her family hasn't liked for 3 years. Like, ultimately, this is the end of a breakup. And, you know, breakups are hard, regardless if both people are on the same page, especially if they're not. You're going to cry. You're going to mourn after it. You can accept a breakup and still be sad about it.
What was it that made you pick Caleb?
I chose Caleb because, one, I am attracted to Caleb, but I think the thing was that I was attracted to his mind the most.
Are you calling him ugly?
No,
I'm joking.
not at all.
You're good.
I feel like for me, the times we've had was so unexpected. It just has been so fun.
Yeah, like we have been enjoying this. I feel like we dove in our initial dates just into
This is Arya's brother, if you guys couldn't see on the screen the text. So Arya's brother and I assume his wife/girlfriend. I didn't get that part, but
like the depth of our stories and how we got to this point.
You actually like were listening, taking notes, and it wasn't just like being a yes man. You weren't doing that.
And then as we actually hung out, it was like, oh wait, we have so many similar interests. We like all the same music.
Like, if I'll tell him something super vulnerable, and he's still able to listen, make me feel heard.
she's so excited about Caleb. It's I'm reading it as authentic. Like I am reading her her enthusiasm, her excitement as authenticity. Arya seems to really like him. Like look at this picture of them. Like I do think they kind of look good together.
Do you feel like this process has helped give you clarity on if Scotty will be that person?
Ugh.
I think he
Oh my gosh. And then I forget she's with Scotty. What a storm cloud. What a negative Nancy. What an Eeyore. Like, oh my gosh. Just kidding. I love Eeyore. No Eeyore slander in the chat. Scotty is so negative. How does she put up with his attitude for that long?
I think he truly wants to be that person for me, but do I think that he's gonna meet it? I don't know. I feel like sometimes he may feel attacked by me.
I don't think you should be that for your partner. I think you should do it for the sake of your values, and it should match your values. And even more than that, it should be a values that the team agrees on. Like you're on a team, and the team has to be heading in the same direction as a marriage. Otherwise, that's why you move apart from each other, right?
He doesn't give me what I want, and that's accountability.
Oh, so Scotty doesn't take accountability, so it doesn't hold him. Okay, yeah. Which is why when he apologized to Zaina, he said, "I'm sorry if you feel that way."
I want him to be able to apologize when things happen off the bat and not have to take like 3 to 4 business days to let me know.
Business days.
But yeah, like I don't want that. That for me is something that is hindering me to like move forward. And I think it really does stem from being a daughter of dad. I can't have a partner I choose treat me like that because I didn't choose my dad.
Oh.
If I'm being honest, like I see similarities between Scotty and Dad. When she first met Scotty, I was not a fan.
That's it right there, bro. The brother has spoken. Not a fan.
Difficult for me as an older brother to like let Arya live her own life and make her own mistakes.
Ugh, yeah.
What I'm hoping is that he also sees he has flaws. Really, truly hope that at the end of this, we can understand each other. Qualities that you have like in a person, I truly know that that's those qualities, the not being judged, the way that we laugh about like literally everything, the way that you listen. I feel like all of those qualities I want in somebody that embodies like my husband.
Like she just seems like her authentic self. Like she's just happy.
Aw.
We'll see. See what happens.
Ooh, that's interesting. Maybe I can't tell if they really like him or if they're just so sick of Scotty. They're like, please, anybody but Scotty.
Regardless of how you feel about it, I've gotten a lot from you.
Why would you project that?
To be fair, this week has been very different.
But a week and a moment and a conflict doesn't define an entire relationship.
It doesn't define it, but considering your relationship's only 3 weeks old, that's why they say if you're fighting in the first 6 months or a year of a relationship, like, what do you think the rest of your marriage is going to look like, girl?
So don't let it.
She's fighting so much harder for the relationship than he is.
I think we're both willing to do the work. Based off of our trial marriage, I think we have recognized things that we want to work through.
Bro, this man got like murderous eyes, in my opinion. Just like he got eyes that says like when I'm insecure and threatened, I hate the person in front of me. Oh, he scares me, honestly, for real. Like his eyes, bro. That's what I'm saying. You know how JR is like a typical masculine guy with muscles? JR does not look like that, but Scotty does. And you would think Scotty's like, oh, he's not like that typical alpha aesthetic. He must be softer, more in tune with his feelings, or more considerate. Nope. He's like the version of a male feminist that's not a male feminist, because I don't even Scotty knows that word feminist. But like Scotty's that guy who's like, I'm not a typical guy who's just all into the gym. Sometimes the softest, sweetest guys are gym bros, and sometimes the worst guys are gym bros, and sometimes the sweetest, nicest guys are guys who are feminine, and sometimes the worst men are feminine. You know what I'm saying? And Scotty's just like the worst. He's the worst. He's the worst. And JR might be one of the good ones. Who knows? But he has stuff to work on, of course. It doesn't sound like JR cheats. It doesn't sound like JR is being rude. It doesn't sound like he's being a complete fuck. Doesn't sound like he's being a complete boy. He just has that energy a bit. But so did Sandy. But then maybe they aren't. Maybe they have focused too much on aesthetic, but truly like they are looking for something authentic. But then, you know what I'm saying? Like it's interesting what category they all fall into. And then Zaina, Mariah, and Aria, I think, have like truly the best intentions coming to this event, like the best wholesome intentions. And I think all three of them should just be in a polyamorous relationship together and screw everybody else.
But I've learned through this trial marriage experience that is necessary. Like you have to realize that even if you're not on the same page, you're working to get there. And I think that's the hard part about arguments is two people might be on such separate pages that they don't care about being on the same page. They care about being right.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, like that's not something I feel like I've mastered the ability to do, but I definitely feel like I've been shown that it's possible.
I mean, he's not wrong. Like that is the skill set that is the indication of like your levels between like healthy and unhealthy for me. Can you get on the same page? Can you see the dignity of the other person? Can you realize like you're just in the wrong or you're not? Like it's pretty obvious that Scotty is the one with the problems, and though he's acknowledging it, will he make the change? Same with Nick. Nick knows he's the problem, but what's his resolution? Sandy should meet me where I'm at. Sandy should do the emotional labor for me. You can't meet people where they're at if they're not willing to meet you. Like Nick isn't willing to meet Sandy. He's not willing to do any of the work. Scotty hasn't indicated that either. He says the right things like this, but does it matter if you say the right things if it isn't followed by action?
We're walking to the courthouse to get divorced.
Like, finally, I'm free.
Okay, they look cute together, whatever. Okay, they look cute together.
You've had it too the last 2 days, you know it.
Well, I think, I was upset about guys' night.
I understand you're heated and you kind of had like your daggers up and stuff with the guys, but you've kind of kept them up with me too.
Ooh, okay, she's bringing it up. He's admitting to it. Okay.
Then we brought up your ex, and you're accusing me of something. So
I was not accusing you of anything, JR. I literally asked you, and I said 10 times. I am just asking you to clarify. He is saying that you said this and you said that, so I want to know actually what was said.
I told you what was said.
Is it wrong of me just to ask you one more time and clarify? I get that you're sick of talking about him. So am I. This is like a weird situation that we're in. We're about to move back in. So
but it's been like the past 3 weeks, like the Nick show. It's like annoying. It's like he knows how to get to you no matter what you do. Block him. He'll talk to your friends. You block your friends, and he'll somehow.
True. Oh, ooh, interesting. Okay, so now there is that tension. Sandy shouldn't. It's funny that she's even considering anything that Nick is saying, but also it makes sense because she's still technically in a relationship with him. Let's be honest. And JR, totally fair. He's like, hey, like we didn't really have these 3 weeks to be together because it was all about Nick, which is really effed up at Nick. That's the part that is unfair. Is like they didn't get that chance to be. But then at the same time, that's just the indication of where everybody is at realistically. But yeah, like nobody had the same problem that they did. JR had to handle a lot of emotional labor, right? Like he is the one doing the emotional labor for multiple people versus everybody else. Like they're just focused on their relationships.
Keeps finding little doors to creep into to affect what we have. I don't want to hear about him no more. Can't wait to be done and over with talking about him.
I have felt like the whole time, like I've owed it to you just to like try and put that shit aside and show up and be present with you. And like
you have been. I tell you that every day.
And maybe that's
You've been focusing on both of us, and you can't say that you haven't been. Especially the first couple of days.
Yeah, how could I mean, it's difficult. Like
trying to manage his emotions and also trying to be there for me. You have been there for me. That's
okay, so Sandy's also been juggling two people's emotions. So JR and Sandy are both doing emotional labor.
And that every day, showing up, proud of you, put your best foot forward, but at the same time, you have been trying to manage him.
I'm trying to just talk to you about something, and you think I'm trying to like attack you. I'm not out to.
Interesting. I think in that moment, it would have, I don't know if the editing is this way, but just in this moment, I really wish he had said, you're right. And I'm sorry about that. And I really wish I had made different decisions going into this, but it's so hard. And no, not even the but like, you're right. And from this moment on, I'd like to just focus on us because we only have this day left together. Because realistically, like nothing that happens in this moment is going to change anything moving forward, except the fact that she's going to make the effort. So I don't know if it's edited where she didn't acknowledge his feelings and they moved past it, but JR is literally telling her what he needs and she's not really getting it. But also there's a fairness that she might not be processing it because there's cameras and it's a show and she's thinking about Nick and humans are going to human. But yeah, I could see JR needing the validation in this moment.
Yes, this whole thing has been a lot. And I think that you've been a really, really good supportive person for me through this. And I have to take care of all these people. And I'm like not really like taking care of myself because it's like I have to manage shit with Nick. But then
yeah, so now she's neglecting herself and JR. Yeah, it feels like the best thing could have been, and now we can't go back, but just to have purely ignored Nick, to like just not even answer anything. Because realistically, like what's going to happen in 3 weeks, dude? But also what could have happened in 3 weeks? Like what if she didn't answer Nick? Would Nick have escalated into violence?
at the same time, I don't want it to look like I'm so upset because I don't want to upset you.
You've been doing a great job. I'm passionate about what I say sometimes. That's it. Like, I respect you a lot. I want to always build you up and give you compliments and praise you.
They're both very complimentary to each other, which is very interesting. But I don't think either of them, like, I'm not seeing yelling. I'm not seeing belittling. I'm seeing tense. I'm seeing a disagreement. I'm seeing a conflict. But I'm not seeing in any way toxicity between this moment, right? This is a pretty basic conversation to have with somebody when you're disagreeing, but you're trying to find a resolution.
You're an amazing woman at the end of the day. Guys night, all I did was praise you.
Yeah, no, I know.
And they hated it.
I feel like we've had such a good time together, and especially leading up to like the last like day or two that we have here, I want nothing but us to just have fun, end on a good note, you know?
You know, I hear what you said, and I apologize.
Thank you. I'm sorry too.
I mean, we got the changeover coming soon, so that's obviously in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
And thinking about what happens next with Zaina, it's huge. And you too, with Nick. Like, I don't know what's going to happen in the next 3 weeks. I don't know how her experience has been with Scotty, so I am a little bit anxious.
I think they're kind of cute now. I kind of appreciate their conversation styles and the way they're handling a lot of this conflict. They actually are pretty complimentary in that sense. I wonder the dynamic between Zaina and JR. I wonder how they handle those conflicts. I wonder how they handle each other. Very interesting. Because, you know, Zaina's so chill. It feels like JR is actually pretty chill. Yeah, I'm surprised. I wonder what it was. Sometimes you can have two great people and it's just not, there's no compatibility, which happens. You know, it's just life. But I really appreciate the way they had these conversations because they're pretty hard to have.
So I have a surprise for you. 1, 2, 3. Yes.
Word? Oh, my God.
Did they both have a surprise for each other and it was a book? I love that. Oh, I love that. Oh, I love a book. I love a book. It's so romantic.
I'll be ready in just 1 second here.
Is he getting tattooed? Ah, yes. You know what you should do when you're emotionally charged and dysregulated? Get a tattoo.
These last weeks have been very challenging, pretty painful and lonely, but I'm not like super jazzed for the changeover. And there's a part of me that's scared that, you know, Sandy's gonna be different. Somebody can jump so quickly into something else. It says a lot.
Yeah, you know what's interesting? I have tattoos and I might get more in the future. I'm definitely open to it for sure. I could never get a tattoo without talking to my partner first because it's not just about me anymore. Like I mean, I talk to my partner about everything we do, not to like get permission. We're adults. We don't give each other permission. You know what I mean? We talk about it though. Hey, do you think this is, you know, in any way going to impact us? Do you have a problem with it? Is it going to be an issue? You know, there are just certain things that, you know, obviously it depends on what the tattoo is, because realistically, God forbid you're dating somebody and they're having like a stroke and they're like, I'm going to get a horrible tattoo that's like really hateful. It's like, I want you to talk to me about it first, you know? And then maybe, you know, I'm always worried that there's going to be like a mental health crisis where you get a tattoo when maybe you're not in the best like state of mind, or you buy a car, or you do. So as a team, we talk about it first. And then we move forward. We've openly talked about tattoos. I've talked about getting more tattoos. We're definitely open to it, you know, maybe in the future for sure. I have some ideas. And so, you know, all of those are conversations we've had. But again, anytime we're making a permanent or a semi-permanent decision, buying a car, getting a tattoo, you want to talk to your teammate about it. So it's interesting that Nick's getting a tattoo without talking to Sandy about it. Again, not to get permission, but just to, you know, have the conversation, right? So it's kind of interesting, different dynamics. But yeah, he's doing it for him. That's fair. But it also, you know, it's a little bit of a red flag for me personally.
This is the end of the story of Sandy and Nick. That's not what I came here for.
Also, if you're new to my audience, when I say it's a red flag, I don't necessarily mean some objective universal red flag. Just according to my values, it might be a red flag, but according to your values, might not be a red flag, right?
Don't even.
I sent you the wrong thing.
What? I sent you the wrong thing.
That's the love. It's Fortune Favors the Bold. That's fantastic.
Are you sure?
100%.
Okay.
I was going to do
What? I was going to do Love Conquers All, but it's Fortune Favors the Bold. What?
Love Conquers All, but now it's Fortune Favors the Bold. I liked both of them, but I went with the love, and maybe that's not where my energy needs to go right now.
This is what I'm saying. This is why you talk to your partner. This is why you talk to somebody. So they can be like, oh, is this the one you wanted? And you'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you caught that. That's not the one I wanted. I've got to let it look at Indiana. You can't see her. She's right there. She's so cute. Okay.
So is there anything you want to do?
Eat.
I want to eat and sleep. I'm so tired.
Yeah, same.
What are you in the mood for, food-wise?
Ideally something semi-healthy. Actually, I don't know if you did, but I did not go to the gym today.
I actually did go to the gym today. I ran into Aria at the gym.
Oh.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
How was that?
I had a quick chat with her. I did tell her a little bit about the aftermath, how I kind of felt like you figured I had something to do with JR. What's interesting is that I didn't even ask, but she told me that she's actually had conversations with JR too. From my perspective, it's interesting because it confirms that everyone's talking to everyone when they run into each other.
Well, obviously. I mean, that feels obvious to me, right? Wouldn't you? Wouldn't it be weird not to talk or say hi?
Like you said, everyone's talking to everyone. I don't really know anyone else that wakes up in the middle of the night at 1:30 and takes their phone with them to the bathroom, so.
What?
Me. It's me. I told my partner this. I was like, do you know there are couples that like feel threatened when people take their phones to the bathroom? And we were laughing because like our phones are always on us. We love our phones because we love our TikTok and we like to poop and watch TikTok. I love it. Not to be TMI, but not everyone's just cheating. Sometimes I'm just watching TikToks. Everyone is so paranoid. Like everyone is so paranoid. I just like to listen to my podcasts when I'm on a toilet, okay? It's just like so funny. Like, what do you think is happening in the bathroom? Do you know? And you're married. You could just walk in. Like, if you don't, I mean, but like if you had to, you could just be like, ha. Like, who else wakes up at 1:30 and takes their phone to the bathroom? Like, sometimes I use my phone to light the way to the bathroom in the middle of the night because I'm scared of the dark. Okay. He's so accusatory. He's so weak. This is weakness. This is a weak character. When I say have a strong sense of character, this is weakness.
What are you talking about? So you think, so because I wake up and first of all, why are you clocking like what I'm doing, where I'm going? And second of all, I actually don't take my phone to the bathroom.
Super defensive. For what?
What?
Because you're over here with like speculations about what?
You're escalating.
What is
No, oh, he's so manipulative. He's so toxic. He's so toxic. Producers, get this man off the show.
Intention behind that
There we
comment?
go.
You often say things and you don't own up to
I'm
what.
trying to say that you definitely use your phone a lot and text a lot.
So that means I am what? Scotty?
Talk to JR.
Do you not understand like how dumb that sounds? What does that
You're
matter
free.
to you besides your obsession with JR? You're saying because I'm on my phone, I'm talking to JR. Do you know how like you are jumping to conclusions? You have no idea what's going on in my
You're
phone.
jumping to dumb shit. What is me having, like me, I have an obsession with JR?
Please listen to Brittany. This is not a healthy relationship. You see it, right? You see the toxicity. Do not let anyone convince you that this is a normal way to talk to your partner. When I say I do not fight with my partner, we do not do this. This is a fight, escalating and devaluing the person, accusatory, blaming, escalating, and then manipulating her to think she's the one. She's the one who's escalating. This is what I'm trying to explain to people. When you say to me, oh, like fighting is normal in a relationship, this is not normal. Or it might be normal, but it's not healthy. This is not okay. This is exactly what I wanted to avoid. This is exactly the dynamics I had in my relationships in my 20s, and I was so confused by them. And I was like, what is going on? Why are you talking to me like this? And I would battle back. I'd be like, hey, like what are you doing right now? And I would try to defend myself. And I was toxic enough to keep engaging with this. When I say I was toxic in my 20s, I mean, I was so toxic. I stayed in these relationships and I tried to humanize them to the point at my own expense, which you've seen me do online a lot. I do want to humanize people sometimes to my own detriment. And I try really hard not to do that. But you see people, you want to help them. So I get it. You see Scotty, you want to help him. You see the little kid who lost his dad when he was young. You see all of these things, but it doesn't matter. You can't treat people like this. You cannot treat people like this. This is exactly, Scotty is it. I need to make a podcast about this because the people who don't watch Ultimatum, they won't see this. I need to make a podcast about exactly why I don't accept, quote, fighting in relationships. Because if this is not okay. JR and Sandy were great examples of conversations where it was hard, but they didn't accuse each other. They didn't escalate. They didn't demean. They didn't belittle. At least based off the editing, Scotty is exactly the red flag, and JR and Sandy are exactly the green flag of what you do when relationships can be uncomfortable. Because of course, in any adult relationship, in any relationship, you're going to have difficult conversations, but they don't need to escalate to belittling, accusations, paranoia. This might have to be this week's podcast just because this is so perfectly exactly what I'm talking about when I say do not let this happen in your relationship. Leave. This person will never get better unless they decide to get better themselves. And he's already done this for 3 years with Arya. He's going to do this for the next 20 years, probably. It's really hard to change. And I don't think Scotty thinks he has to. Even when he says the right things, he doesn't do the right things.
Answer the question.
Nobody's more upset with JR than JR. Nobody cares about what JR's doing except for people that are associated to JR.
And people who ask about them very often, like you. You obviously care.
You're literally talking to yourself.
If I talk to myself, it'll make more sense than talking to you, clearly.
Obsessed with JR is crazy. You really couldn't come up with a better deflection than that?
Damn.
Good deflection. Why do you care?
Better argument.
See, do better. He's getting sassy. He's getting angry. He's getting petty. And when you engage with the behavior, you're allowing yourself to be toxic enough to engage, but you do it because you're doing it out of defense. You're trying to defend yourself. Don't try to defend yourself against toxic people. Leave. You can't win against a person who's willing to belittle you because you're not going to win. The point is you shouldn't have to be winning. You should be building a healthy relationship, right?
Behavior.
Why do you care so much?
Gaslighting is not going to work on me.
It's not.
So he's the one, not technically that's a misuse of the word, but he's the one gaslighting her in quotations. But then he says, I'm not going to be gaslit. The man learned enough language to know, but he was actually doing it to her.
Gaslighting.
Yes, it is. I think you're just talking shit because you're mad, which is fine.
No, I'm not upset. What do I have anything to be upset over?
Now, to be fair, she is getting angry at him and maybe engaging in toxic language because he started it. But see how he turns it around on her? He poked her, he poked her. And then he was like, why are you mad at me? Why are you mad at me? When she's finally stop poking me. And he's like, why are you mad at me? Why are you mad at me? And then he goes, wow, you're poking and you're yelling at me. And that's what a manipulation tactic.
So I am gonna go somewhere else.
Yes. Oh, good for you.
I just feel like the fact that you keep holding on to this version of your truth, that I am the one who influenced JR to think these things of you, is very belittling.
Yes, ma'am.
And the same way that you think people come for your character, you're coming for my character with that.
I never said you did.
Oh, Zaina. Zaina, don't let him, girl. Don't let him.
All I was doing was asking you
Scotty,
questions.
be real.
Be real.
Never assumed anything.
Yes, you did.
All I did was ask you
You've asked
questions.
me if I've spoken to him.
You're not making any sense.
This is it, girl. This is why we meditate. Look at her face, girl. Look at her face. She's like, excuse me? Ooh, girl. Look at the way Scotty so calmly, so plays it. See this crazy woman? See this crazy girl? She's so crazy, bro. And then men have the audacity to be like, women are so crazy. What is this? What is this? Good for you, Zaina. Don't let him get away with it, girl.
I never assumed anything.
Yes, you did.
All I did was ask you questions.
You've asked me if I've spoken to him.
You're not making any sense.
Should I get JR on the line?
That's unnecessary drama. I feel like you're a little too old to be doing all that.
Oh my. And this is why we meditate. This is why we meditate.
I'm too old.
Yeah.
And you are
At 32,
so immature.
you should low-key like hang
and
up the drama jersey in the rafters.
Immature,
It's time.
and you think you're so mature, but you're actually a child.
Amen.
You were out here gaslighting. You were out here denying. And you
A
were out here.
gaslighter calling someone a gaslighter.
What did I ever gaslight
Like,
you about? What did I gaslight you about?
Scotty.
This is why we're leaving. Yes, Zaina, get out of there. This is why we watch these shows, because when I talk and people say, "Oh, Brittany's just being so silly. Brittany's being in denial. Brittany's with this." I'm telling you, this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is why we have to watch these shows, because it proves exactly what I'm talking about, what category of person I am trying to warn you against. And when I say like I was toxic, I was like Zaina's kind of engaging in the toxicity because she's fighting him. That's what I mean. When I say I was toxic in my 20s, I mean I was engaging with the toxic person, trying to save them, trying to fight back, but like it comes off toxic. It's not who I want to be. I don't do this. I try to de-escalate. When I say I'm toxic, it means I'm engaging in the toxicity of not being in my wise mind, not being my most centered self. So I try to be the most centered version of myself, because when I engage in the toxicity, it's not good for me. It's not who I want to be. Zaina probably doesn't want to be a person who has to yell with somebody like, "You're a gaslighter. No, you're a gaslighter. You're immature. No, you're immature." Why are we even having this conversation? Because Scotty is escalating and Zaina rightfully feels a need to defend herself. I wish this for everybody, myself included, that in these moments when people are tempting you to engage so they can say, "See, you're just like me," we walk away, because we don't want to be like them. We want to be our higher thinking selves. We want to be better. We want to be at peace.
I am leaving because
That's fine. Zaina, listen, you are painting a real ugly picture of yourself with your true colors right now.
I'm going to hold your hand when I say this. Dump him. I know you're dating him right now. Whoever you are out there, I know you're in a relationship with them right now, regardless of gender, and I need you to dump them. You do it right now, okay? You get out safely, because honestly, he gives escalation to possibly other things. You need to get safely out of this relationship. You are worth so much more than being in this toxic bubble.
you don't deserve to experience my presence for someone that
That's the toxicity. The toxicity is like, you don't even deserve me. No, girl. It's not about deserve. It's about moving on and realizing, like, engaging. This is what he wants. He wants you to yell at him. He wants you to say things so he can continue thinking you're so gross, you're so ugly. He wants you. This is what he's seeking. He wants you to be just as low and ugly as he is, but you're not. You're better than that. And I don't blame Zaina or any of us for engaging with these people, but this is our opportunity to seek a wise reaction, which is hard. You have to train yourself, because, girl, this is what I'm saying. This is,
that has been very open with you, vulnerable with you, has invested time with you, spoken nothing but positive things about you, and you don't believe me? Like, why would I want to continue doing this?
I never said you have to. You're free to do whatever
I
you
know,
want.
that's why I'm leaving.
Okay,
so that's
fine.
why I'm out. But it's just so baffling that you can't just like take my word for it.
All right, cool.
So period,
Leave it at that.
done, that is all.
Deuces.
he always has to have the last word. Remember, that's what Arya said. Scotty always has to have the last word. I'm so proud of Zaina. I'm so proud of her. She's everything. She's queen. She's everything.
Until this actual process, a big part of me was concerned that I wouldn't make a good husband. And I felt if I couldn't make a good husband, I probably wouldn't make a good father. I just settled with the idea that I'd probably die alone, and I wouldn't have any of those things.
You really thought that?
It's actually really sad.
But I hope you know that you have those qualities.
Yeah, I've gotten more comfortable with the idea of having a wife and having children.
And that's a mindset too. So if you manifest that you will be that, you will be that.
Yeah.
And I think that the qualities that I've seen within just in this experience.
Interesting wordage there. Obviously, I think it takes action more than manifesting or thinking, but manifesting requires action to be a reality. So interesting, Arya's language here.
That you are so thoughtful. You truly care about people that are around you. And I feel like you give your all. You don't just do like 50%. You really, truly give your all. And I think that those are good qualities within a husband. And I don't think that that should ever stop, honestly.
I know you say I'm thoughtful, but it's not even close to how you show up for the people around you. You're gonna make someone really, really happy.
I appreciate
really,
that.
really happy.
Shows me that there's just like really just like good men out there.
Wow. So Arya has trauma with men and ends up with Scotty. Talk about breaking generational curses. Talk about proof is in the pudding of how we continue cycles unknowingly, subconsciously. Her brother said that Scotty reminds them of their dad. And I'm assuming their dad was abusive because of the implication of the conversation. And, it really just ends up that way. That's so human. We really do replicate what we think we deserve in life. And usually that stems from the way we're raised or the way we're brought up. And there's an overlap there. It's not exactly one-to-one, not always, right? But there is an impact. We are impacted by our environments as we're, when we're children. So I can't imagine Arya with Scotty. The more I learn about Scotty, the harder it is for me to even recognize that Arya is with Scotty. Scotty. Oh my gosh. Wow. Wow. That's kind of amazing. Like, what makes an Arya stay with a Scotty? And I think it's the same thing that we all stay for, is the hope for the potential, the 10% of good we see in them, hoping it will be 90%, 99% one day. It's the idea that maybe love can conquer all. But this is why I say introspection and self-awareness is so hard, because you have to be self-aware first, which Scotty is self-aware, but he doesn't do anything about it, right? BoJack Horseman, super self-aware, doesn't do anything about it. There's no introspection. Scotty knows he has problems, but he does zero to ever change. And that's basically who I dated in my 20s. People who were very self-aware. So I thought they were introspective, but then they wouldn't change. And I was like, what's going on? They lacked introspection. But they knew they could tell me their problems. Like, they could verbalize to me what issues they had. And I was like, okay, so you know there's a problem. You going to do anything about that? They're like, I am. But like, they weren't. And nothing ever changed. No matter how much time went by. That is Scotty.
I know things have not been easy. It's been a lot. It's been really hard. And you've been like my rock.
When I came here, I was not ready for marriage, but now absolutely I can see myself married to someone like Sandy. The next 3 weeks with Zaina should tell a lot. I'm very thankful that we were able to connect, and I'm happy that I have you.
I'm here with you. Like, I want you to know that for real.
I don't want to leave here and have regrets.
You're in AA? Yeah.
Yeah. It means so much to me. My heart is full.
Good.
Oh, that edit was so sweet. I'm not gonna lie. But also, yeah, God, I'm so nervous for everybody. My heart goes out to Zaina. I'm interested to see how her and JR get along, because honestly, I'm confused about their initial dynamic. What is it about Sandy, but what is it about Zaina? Like, what brings out the best in JR? And, again, you can have two really great people who are dating and they're just not compatible. You can look good on the resume, but not have the va-va-voom, the chemistry, the outlook. Just something, so you can have one or the other. Sometimes you just don't match. That's why I say compatibility has to be very high, and then it's obvious. But when you feel like it should make sense, but it doesn't, your compatibility just isn't there. And that's okay. Like, no one's a bad person because you're not compatible, right?
Hello, everyone. And welcome to The Changeover.
Okay, so obviously we'll move into the next episode, episode 7. Very interested to see how the next 3 weeks are going. I'm so glad we had this episode. What a great example of exactly what I'm talking about toxic relationships, dynamics, conversations, escalation versus de-escalation, healthy versus toxic. I got to be very clear with my stories, because I'm sure when I say I was toxic in my 20s, you guys are imagining something. I need you to know that Brittany's definition of toxicity is anytime you're outside of your centered, grounded joy. So when I say everyone's going to be toxic throughout their life, there's a spectrum to it of high and low, but I can still be toxic if I'm outside of my relationship with my, positive symbiosis. If I'm, taking any of my frustration out on people, I consider that toxicity. So for me, I try to remain calm and if I'm dysregulated, to voice that in a very loving way. I try my hardest to be a good person. But of course, like Scotty, his level of toxicity is like not even comparable. Speaking down, gaslighting, twisting truth, like that is a level of toxicity that a lot of us have to deal with, but it doesn't mean a lot of us have to engage with it, right? To be honest with you, there's a reason why Scotty's the only person engaging with that level of toxicity. Even Nick, with all of his toxicity, did not become as toxic as Scotty. And look at those two differences of toxicities, right? A Nick version of toxic versus a Scotty version. Both are toxic, but I would rather have a Nick over a Scotty, but I would rather have neither, obviously, because both at the end of the day are escalating way past the level of even healthy. That tells me both of them are so far from healthy, because healthy people, though can be toxic, don't traditionally, in my mind, I don't know why I said traditionally as if there's but they don't technically, in my mind, I don't see a pattern in which healthy people ever become that toxic, even when they're toxic. The level of a healthy person becoming toxic usually ends up being like a Zaina who engages with the toxicity as a way to defend herself, but obviously isn't in her joy, right? Isn't like in her positive, isn't having a positive symbiotic relationship with her consciousness and the thing outside of her consciousness. So yeah, what a good example of the spectrums of toxicity. I loved it. It was great. It was fabulous. What a great episode. Okay, let's go ahead and watch episode 7. I'll see you for that. Bye.
In my head, in real life I'm in bed, my belly's being fed and I'm okay. I'm just fine, yet all I do is whine, not to you in my mind, cause I know I don't make sense. I've been nothing but blessed, so why's my life a mess? Please tell me, cause I'm sick of thinking, yeah, I'm sick of reaching out for the truth and living life as a fool. Then